the London day game model. This is going to give you a framework to go ahead and attack and figure out what's going on in your game. So the London day game model, we're just going to run through it. A model of direct day game was emerging in London, devised by day gamers out there every day. Myself, Anthony, a pickup artist called Krauser, and a handful of guys who are trying to make a business out of it. Oh, these guys set up the motherfucking game for the boys. Shout out to the boys. It wasn't a routine manual or a script, but more like an underlying structure made up of 5 phrases. Write this stuff down. I'm not being funny. I'm not being facetious. This stuff is the framework. You can get this tattooed on your arm. Open, stacking, vibe, investment, close. You could do that, and if you just follow the framework while you're talking to the girl, you're gonna get numbers. You're gonna get dates. You're gonna level up your game. Day Game, fantastic book. It's an easy read. Just a lot of sex stories. Street Hustle, more of an instructional PDF. Fire book as well. You're going to get a lot out of both books. You're going to get a lot out of this author right here. Rest in peace, Tom Torero. He took his own life last year, and it's very unfortunate, but we really appreciate what you did, Tom. I know you're watching down from above. So it starts with this. The London day game model, whether she's walking walking from one location to another or sitting at a coffee shop, it really doesn't matter. You run in front of her and you stop her with, hey, I know this is a little bit random, and the thing is, you never approach from behind. Like that's creepy. That's predator vibes. You run in front of her, and we're gonna in the live interactions, in the live approaches. You're gonna see what I do. You're gonna always approach from the front, as to not set off the alarms of stalker or predator. And this is something that you really want to get in: the energy of being a protector, not a predator. Energy of being a provider, not a pedo or something creepy like that. So open. Run in front of the girl and stop her with, hey, I know this is a little bit random. Tell her where you saw her. I just saw you walking past, and give her a low investment compliment. I think you look really nice. You can do that. I'd give high investment compliments, but my high investment is low investment. So it kind of is the same. Like, I'm over the top just as it is from my personal background and the family that I grew up in. So I'll stop a girl and be like, yo, you look like my next ex-girlfriend. Like, and I say it with a laugh like that because that's my personality, but you're going to find your own game. And the only way that you're going to find your own game is experience, boys. Like, you gotta go out and try and fail and fail and fail and fail and fall forward and fall again. So the open. Run in front of her, say, hey, this is a little bit random. I just saw you walking past, and I think you look really nice. It's going to open her up. Like, some girls are going to completely blow you out of the water and say, oh, thank you, and then keep walking. But all that you did was give her a compliment. That's all that you did. And then some girls are going to be like, wow, that really made my day. Thank you so much. And you're going to stand apart from all other men that are trying to talk to her, trying to holler at her. Her phone's blowing up on Hinge, Tinder, Bumble. But you're the one that came up to her and talked to her and looked in front of her and looked her in her eyes and said, hey, man to woman, I think you look really nice. And then a stack. Oh, man, I forgot how good this is. I forgot how freaking good this London day game model is, guys. Like, this shit is juicy. So you're going to go from the open to stacking. Say what you see. We talked about this, having the open mind, always looking for opportunities to talk about something in the environment, the indirect open. What I noticed about you was, and then you're making assumptions. Assumptions, never questions. Assumptions are so boring. We're going to talk about that in the future, in like the creating comfort and the other in initiating and engaging in conversations. But making assumptions are so much more fun than questions. Because she hears questions all day. Where are you from? What do you do for work? Did you go to school? What did you study? But when you make assumptions, you're playing a game with her. It's no longer a question game. It's an assumption game. And when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. But, man, sometimes the ass is just juicy. And you smack it up, wrap it up, bam. So make assumptions, never questions. Assumptions. I'm guessing you're from Sweden because of the blonde hair and the chilled vibe. Something I like to say is, like, I look at a girl and I'll even skip past the open. I'll just look at her and be like, Italian. And she'd be like, what? I'm like, you're Italian, huh? She'd be like, no, I'm Chilean. And then the conversation starts from there. But that's because we started with an assumption. And once you learn the model, once you learn the framework, then you can jump around with it. Like I said in the last video, once you learn the rules, you can go ahead, bing, 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 do your MK Leo and like springboard from across a slingshot, bing, 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 bang, boom, bop, boop, boop, boop. So yeah, stacking. I'm guessing you're from Sweden because of the blonde hair and the chilled vibe. Springboard. Ooh, I forgot about this one. And then she's going to say, oh, no, I'm actually from blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to say, when I think of girls from Italy, I think of wine and fancy cheese and little bikes with hats. No, that's fucking France. Like, you're going to say something like that. When I think of whatever I made the assumption of, I think of something fun, teasing. So you can go ahead and say lakes, forests, and lots of alcoholics. So when I think of Sweden, I think of lakes, forests, and lots of alcoholics. And then challenging is so much. The push and the pull is so important because you don't want to just be push. You're going to push them all the way. You don't want to be pull because they're going to resist. So it's like a swing. It's a balance. It's a game of salsa. And if you haven't started taking salsa classes yet, that's the number one way to go ahead and get yourself comfortable with physical touch, getting yourself comfortable with approaching women in a romantic but like semi-platonic way, so it's like a nice vibe like that, and it's a great way to meet single women because so many single women, all they do is just salsa dance. Like, there's salsa dancing in every city, every metropolitan city, the closest city to you, there's going to be salsa classes, there's going to be bachata classes, there're going to be people looking to meet people and to dance, and you just got to do it. You just got to do it, but you're going to challenge her. You don't like London? I think it's the greatest city in the world because of its handsome men and energy. So that's like, you're making a compliment to yourself, but by teasing in a little bit of a self-deprecating way. But it's like, oh, have you seen Hercules? Yeah, he's about this tall, has a mustache just like this. It's kind of like a play on words, a joke, a game, just in the same sense. And then the push-pull, you're very nice, almost too nice. And then storytelling. I went to Stockholm last year in the summer, and they were doing this strange frog dance around a pool. So with the stack, you're making the assumption, and then you're telling stories, you're getting to the point, you're talking about experiences that are relevant to you and relevant to her, and then she's going to start vibing back and forth with you, and you're going to be talking about things if she's invested into you, if she wants to keep on talking to you. Sometimes girls are just going to keep on walking and not want to talk to you. You have to accept that. You have to walk into that knowing that there's a possibility that that's going to happen, and there's going to be a possibility that your feelings are going to be slightly hurt from it, but you have to accept that your feelings are going to be slightly hurt from it, and there's not damn thing that you can do about it except accept it and move on and get on to the next one. Like, no loss of enthusiasm is going to be the biggest thing for you in your day game approach, and in the night game approach too. No loss of enthusiasm. Like, if a girl turns you down and rejects you, there's no loss of enthusiasm, because another no just means a yes is around the corner. Another no just means a yes is around the corner, because you're learning experience, you're putting experience in the bucket, and you're not losing anything here. You're losing fear. You're losing anxiety. You're losing that version of yourself that got no girls with every single failure that you get. But if you fail to fail, then you're holding on to that, and you're protecting yourself from the growth that happens. So vibing, a back and forth flow of conversational banter on the topics she's brought up, keep spiking things up, let her invest more by dialing things down yourself, wait for the hook point when she asks a question. So I do this really well. I like to let the girl talk, and I let her 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 talk. And it's so important to, I think it's like a good 80-20 split, where I talk very little about myself. I talk about things, and I talk about people, and I talk about events, but I really fractionalize myself down a bit, and I'll tell like something vulnerable about like my mom or my little sister, the love that I have for them, or my love for traveling, and then I ask them a question back. So and it's genuine. You got to be genuine with it. But the vibing, and then she's gonna wait for a hook point when she asks a question, and that question could be, "Where are you from?" Or what's your name? And as soon as you hear that hook point, boom, you're in there like swimwear, dude. Now she's invested. Now she wants to know a little bit about you. Now when she asks what your name is, then you just gotta not fuck it up. Like you got the ball down field, baby. When she asks the hook point, what's your name? Where you're from? What are you doing today? Those are all, when she asks that you gotta literally think like a hook, and you're a fish on it, and you're reeling it in, baby, reeling it in. And then you're going to do investment. You're going to let her do more of the work, limit the flirting and spiking, and give some information about yourself. I'm not going to go too deep into that. Go ahead and pick up this book right here. You get the idea, though. You get the idea. Once you get the hook point, you can go ahead and start moving in for the close. So the close, take down her number, or go on instant date. So there's a whole bunch of methods that you can get into. It's not necessarily important just to have the framework of what the steps you go through to go ahead and get a girl on the street in the middle of the day. But once you have this framework and you can play inside of it, you're going to feel so comfortable saying, okay, I got to open, then I got to stack, then I got to vibe, then I got to get the hook point with the investment, And once I get the hook point with the investment, then I close. A great way to close is saying, hey, I have to get out of here. I think you're really cool. What's a good way for us to stay in contact or stay in touch? Boom, and she's gonna say, okay, you can take my Instagram, or you can get my number, and then or you can go on an instant date right there and be like, hey, I'm actually waiting for some friends at this to join me over this coffee shop. I have about 30 minutes if you got time right now, and boom, you're like, oh yeah, or like, hey, if you're free right now, let's go grab a coffee, and boom, you can go ahead and get it right there, and you can change your whole day, your whole week, your whole month, your whole lifestyle. Honestly, just by having an instant date with somebody and not having the fear of walking into a situation with a girl and then be able to close right there, like dude, you guys saw with the gym girl yesterday, like I saw her, we got some juice, came back over here, and we're gonna talk about last minute resistance. We're gonna talk about buyer's remorse. I still gotta text that girl back. I haven't texted her back because I want to show you guys a little bit of what it is, what happens when you start hooking up with a lot of girls, and like the phrases and the phases that they go through when they hook up with a guy for the first time, if they just met him. We'll go through that in another video. But with that being said, guys, that is the basic framework right there. Day Game, the book by Tom Torero, amazing book, quick read, super quick read. Street Hustle, super quick read. If you got anything from this course, you got more information and more resources, and then you got my models as well. I take the Day Game model, I took it, I used it, I broke it up, and I use what works for me. Because once you learn it, then you can break it. So go ahead, take this Day Game model, go ahead and get a couple approaches in today with the open the stack, the vibe, the investment, and the close, and go ahead and get you some play today. Easy money. Enjoy the day.